The all-new Toyota RAV4 asks, what if? What if your ride was refined and rugged at the same time? Introducing the all-new RAV4 Hybrid. 208 combined horsepower and standard all-wheel drive make it the most powerful RAV4. Plus, with its head-turning style and breakaway speed, it's bound to change the way you think of a hybrid. The all-new RAV4 Hybrid. Toyota. Let's go places. Horsepower. Ratings achieved using the required premium unleaded gasoline with an octane rating of 91 or higher. Premium fuel is not used. Performance will decrease.
At Farmers Insurance, we know a roof can withstand a lot. One exception being an airborne car. Seen it, covered it. Click for more.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Hi, this is Jim the Keys bartender coming to you from the Catch Restaurant in Key Largo. I'm here with Russ Pellow and Luke Glenn will be joining us shortly. Russ is a local here and he is a captain and a fishing guy. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I do a little intro to the Catch Restaurant here. Key Largo, and you come in here.
I'm a big fan myself.
You are?
Oh, yeah.
You're here, yep. I see Russ here a couple days a week. He doesn't you never overdo it. I have never seen you overdo it.
Because I did that back in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Yeah. So, well now, Russ, I think your big night is I see you come in for 4 drinks.
Yeah, three maybe, and that's it.
Okay. Oh, well, I asked Russ to come in here because we're kind of changing it over to a little more interview, and then Tuesday's our panel show. Once again, I'll say we're at the Catch, and the happy hour is Monday through Friday, 3:30 to 6:30. They have reduced drink prices and food prices like wings, oysters, and clams and shrimp. And then you can always get if you go out with someone like Captain Russ here, and you go on one of these fishing charters, where I was saying yesterday, on episode 67, this is episode 68, it's Something Smells Fishy is the title of it.
That's good, yeah, that's the story of my life.
No, but if it's fresh fish, it won't smell fishy. Yeah. That's the nice thing about going, and that's why I have Russ here. And if you do get your fresh fish, bring it in cleaned, and the Catch will cook it up for you. You get 2 sides, they'll cook it up, any of the preparations they have, and you ask them. A lot of times they can do something off menu for you. And they have a lot of selections for people that don't eat fish. Okay, Russ.
Yes.
Let's cut down to some of the business at hand.
Okay.
How long have you been down here?
I moved here in July of 1978. And so if I do the math, that's 40 years.
That is 40 years. Yeah. July, it's in 2 months.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a little party, some confetti, maybe have a beverage.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
You were a kid.
I was 27 years old when I moved down 27? Here. Uh-oh, they're doing the math out there. Damn, he's an old guy.
Yeah. You know what? He doesn't look that. He doesn't. He wears his age well.
Yeah.
And did you come down here as a fisherman?
Well, let me tell you what happened, if I can get into a little bit of a story here.
Yes.
I'm from southeastern Pennsylvania, as are you. I'm from Chester County, a little town called Westchester.
Beautiful town.
Born and raised.
Beautiful town.
Oh, listen, back then it was just gorgeous. I mean, my mom and dad and I lived in a little house that backed up to a dairy farm. And my obsession with fishing began at a young age. I was able to walk across the cow field and fish in the farm pond. And then when I got a little older, I could ride my bike down to the Westchester Reservoir and bass fish. And as a middle teen, I got into trout fishing. And I'll tell you, I think it was in 7th or 8th grade one time, and my father comes into my bedroom. He goes, Russell? Now when he calls me Russell,
I thought you were going to say something like that. You had a picture of Raquel Welch, and you had some hands.
He had some paper in his hand. It was my report card. He goes, now listen to Russ. He goes, I know you love to fish, but you really need to spend more time on your studies and so forth. He says, you got a couple of B's, and you got a C, but you got a couple other grades here. He says, listen, I know you'll love to fish, but he says, Russ, you can't make a living fishing. And he was right. bada bing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was obsessed, and to bring it a few years on, in my early 20s, I met a guy that was traveling around. His name was Scott, and he was from West Palm Beach. This is up in southeastern Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And get to talking to him and everything, and he says, "Boy, I love this area." He says, "I'm traveling with so and so," and he goes, "But I'd love to stick around." He goes, "I love the people, I love the country." He goes, "Do you know where I can rent a room or have a place to stay?" And I said, "Well, listen, I'm renting a nice big farmhouse out in the country." I said, "But you're going to have a job."
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, you know where I can get a job?" And I said, "Well, I'm working at a place where I might be able to get you a job." Well, so it all went together. I got him work. He was a decent guy. He lived with us. And this was a small manufacturing company. I was running a shipping department, and they closed down the first 2 weeks of July. Scott comes to me, he goes, "Hey man, where are you going on vacation?" I'm going, "I'm not going anywhere on vacation, He goes, "Let's go to Florida." He was from Lake Park, Florida, which is a little north of West Palm Beach.
Okay.
And I said, "Florida?" I said, "Okay, 2 questions. Where is it and why would we go there?" He goes, "Well, we drive down Interstate 95, and he says, there'll be girls on the beach. We'll do some swimming, we'll do some snorkeling, we'll do some fishing." I said, "Oh, you had me at girls on the beach." So bang, we put a toothbrush and a change of underwear in my truck, and we drove down here. First time I came down here, probably 1972 or maybe 73, I don't know. And so that was my first taste of the Keys, and I vacationed here for the next, for 4 or 5 years.
Okay, on to the next one. Till we get to the fishing part. When you came here, what was your first impression? Did you come directly to Amarada, or did you go to...
Well, we stopped up in West Palm Beach, and we went to the beach. And if you're from the South Jersey area and you see the water at West Palm Beach Ocean, it's a little different. It's as beautiful blue as you could possibly think. So, you're kind of overwhelmed. Then when you come down to the Keys, we did some snorkeling out at Penny Camp. We fished around the bridges, just the lifestyle. And, come on, Jimmy Buffett and all that stuff. I mean, it was different. It was beautiful. It's like when you go to the Rocky Mountains for the first time. Your jaw hangs open. You're looking around. You're going, "Wow, how beautiful is this?" And so that's...
what was the lifestyle like? I mean, was there a lot of cocaine and shit like that going on? I'm not saying what you did. Did you see a lot of weird stuff?
There sure was. I mean, we all remember back then when Everglades City, all the guys got busted out there. There's a big 60 Minutes expose. And when you were offshore dolphin fishing, there'd be bales of something floating around out there. Some guys picked them up, some guys didn't. And so sure, there was a lot going on.
Hey Luke, you know Captain Russ, right? We're going over there. Luke Glenn showed up here.
Hey Luke.
He roams wild about the Keys.
When I grow up, I want to be just like you. I want to tell you that.
It's like one of those nomadic or migratory animals.
I forgot my teeth.
You forgot his teeth. Had to go back.
No, I forgot them.
Oh, you don't have them now?
No.
Okay. I shouldn't laugh. Well, we're on the part of your first impression, what it was like. Not just, I guess, the fishermen with the bales. Okay. You can't talk. I don't want you to get yourself in trouble. But there are people down here. I think there's several. I've heard tell that there's several fortunes founded down here due to those.
I mean, if you want to get into that, I'm not going to name names, but I've known a lot of people that went away. And as an individual, you have to make up your mind: do I want to risk my freedom, or don't I? Some people did. Some people didn't. And some guys had PVC tubes with cash stuffed in them, buried in their backyard, and when they needed them, they went and dug one up. I worked on a boat one time. Actually, it was my very first job in the Keys, working on a boat. It was a party boat, and a guy came out with us. And as a mate on the party boat, you sold beer and soda. Beer's $1, soda's 50 cents. And this guy said, "Let me get a beer," and I gave him a beer. I said, "That's $1." He goes, "I'll catch you at the end of the trip." I'm going, uh-oh, what's going to happen here? And the guy had 2 or 3 or 4 more, and the captain said, "Don't worry about him." I said, "All right." Well, he walked off the boat at the end of the day, had 4 beers, and gave me a $100 bill. And I'm thinking, what in the hell is this? Well, the captain said, "Well, this fella has a lot of cash that he can't claim on his income tax, so he's got to throw it around." And it was drug money. we used to run down the backside of Alamorada to go down to the big famous tarpon channels, Channel 2 and Channel 5. There were 5 huge homes right on the beach, what they call White Marlin Beach, that remained unfinished for 10 years. Well, the conventional wisdom told us that they were drug money. Yeah. And they were in litigation with whoever, the IRS or DEA or whoever. I mean, you can successfully smuggle and put big money in your pocket, cash, but how are you going to spend it? So that was the issue. Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Yeah, put a couple $1 million house up on the anywhere that people are going to start poking around.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why the Deutsche Bank in New York, and that was big for the Russian. Not to get into but Russian oligarchs, you got to launder your money. It used to be the Colombian drug lords, and you had the Cayman Islands and all that stuff.
I was playing music down here back then, man. I had to.
Wait, were you down? What year did you get down?
I started playing music down here in '88.
Okay, so we got 78 to 88. So that's right in that meaty part of the cocaine thing, if I remember correctly.
I remember getting offered, hey, if you hide this in your speakers and you take it up here, we'll give you 10 grand. And I'm like, well, thing is, if I get caught doing it,
you will get
I'm going to get 10 fucking years. And $1 grand a year isn't a very good living. So
no.
I read the guys in the Banned Riot Act. I said, man, don't anybody try sneaking any amount of shit, because this is my fucking vehicle. Yeah. And I'm the one that's going to fucking go to jail.
You got it. Well, lesson to be learned, kids out there. If you're going to do something, be mindful of the consequences there.
And don't be greedy.
Don't be greedy. We're back to
the easy way ain't always the easy way.
So you came down here and you were a mate on a fishing. So what happened?
What I did was I decided that I was going to come down here after vacationing. So I had just bought a brand new 1976 pickup truck. I had just put a new engine on my little 16-foot skiff, and I went out and I bought a used slide-on cap for my truck. I said, I'm going to be self-contained. I came down and I parked it at Calusa Campground here in Key Largo, which is where I used to camp when I came down here. Yeah. And so I said to myself, Russ, don't go into any of your savings. I got a job right away at Purdue Dean Marina down there in Tavernier, which is now the Boat Mart or something.
You were 28 years old?
27.
And you had savings?
Oh, of course I did.
What one level-headed. No, I knew you weren't going to pick up one of those bails. Okay, let's pick up.
So anyway, I'm working down there, driving a forklift, putting boats in and out of the water, pumping gas, and so I'm hanging around on the fishing docks. And I'm at Whale Harbor Marina, and back in '78, the upstairs bar was called Rotten Ralph's. Yeah. It's still there, but it was much smaller. It was all open air. And I sat down next to a guy, didn't look too unlike Luke. His hair was a lot darker, but big beard, good-looking, happy-looking dude, drinking a beer. And I'm talking to him, and I said, yeah, I come down here to fish. Gosh darn it. And he says, I got to work 6 days a week. He goes, well, what's your day off? I said, Tuesdays. He goes, see that boat over there? He points. I said, yeah. He goes, that's my boat. He goes, you come down here Tuesday morning. I won't be here. You tell the captain I told you to come on the boat and you can go fishing. I'm going, oh, are you kidding me? That's a wonderful thing. He goes, now just listen to me. Help the mate cut some bait. Help him take out tangles. Help him with the anchor. Wash the boat with him on the way home. Go fishing. I'm going, oh, I have died and gone to heaven. I did that for 6 or 7 weeks. And I'm coming up to the gangway at 7:30 one morning with a couple of fishing rods and a tackle box, and the captain says, Russ, put your gear back in your truck. The season's kicking in. I'm going to be busy today. I need a second mate. I'll pay you $30. You'll make tips. I said, all right. Well, stupid country boy that I was, I didn't realize I was being trained all the time,
Yeah.
Right.
So I went out fishing that day. I came back to the dock, and I was so pumped. I felt like I was breathing pure oxygen. I had a pocket full of wet 5s and 1s on both sides, and I'm thinking, this is great. I don't think I ever got that $30, by the way. But anyway,
oh, really?
I quit my job, and I started working for him 3 days a week and fishing a couple days a week. Now, dude, this is the Keys disease. This is the Keys lifestyle right now. I'm a wild.
How much did you need to survive back then? Like, what were you bringing home? Like $50 a day or more?
Did I mention we drank a fair amount?
Okay.
So I can't give you numbers, but that
you did enough. You didn't have to dig into your savings.
Oh no. I'm very frugal. Hell yeah. So, and you can live off your gratuities, your tips.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people in the hospitality business, and you try to put your paychecks away. I worked for that guy for 1 year, and he turned out to be not quite the level guy that you want to work for. So in 1980, I got my first job on a charter boat.
Yeah.
And I worked at charter boats as a mate for 10 years.
To 1990.
Until 1990. And in 1990, I bought a boat. I bought a small boat. I bought a 21-foot center console, and I still own it. I'm on my 7th engine. I fish the backcountry. I fish the Gulf. I fish tarpon. I fish the ocean side on the reef. I fish offshore. On my literature, I was going to put I go both ways, but I didn't think that was going to be the thing to do.
Well, you know what? You could get away in the Keys with that.
Well, in the Keys, but
mile marker 83 maybe, but not
not above mile 83.
But you can't advertise, up to the Panhandle.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think we're on different wavelengths here.
No, that's good. Okay.
No, I was just saying if you was advertising.
Because there's only one way up there.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
They're more homophobic.
He's with us.
Russ and I looked at each other and go, wait, are we on the thing?
I'm thinking geography and everything. I'm going, okay.
Bible Belt, man.
Okay, all right. Well, they talk about those Catholic priests. You never know. For crying out loud.
Don't bring that up.
No.
Yeah, but that's all right. You can bring whatever up you want. So let's go over your. Let's go over your. At the end, we can talk about some of the trips. Your regular a trip, a good day and a bad day. Mm-hmm. No, we don't want to talk about bad. We want to only hear about good days. Do you have to? One question I want to ask: when you take people out,
yes,
you got your certain places that your spots.
Oh yeah, you do.
Do you protect them with?
No.
They're like, do you protect them? No, when I say protect them, if someone's like has their phone out, they're messing, they're marking.
A customer?
Yeah.
No.
You don't mind?
No. Because
I heard some people say like, give me your goddamn phone.
Listen, if the guy's got a GPS with him and I'm somewhere in the hinterlands back there, I don't care if he's got the numbers. He's not going to be able to get there because it's not a freaking straight line to get there. You got to go around this flat, through this cut, jump this bank. So no.
Oh, you mean he'll know where it is, but we wouldn't know how to get there.
Oh man, if you've never been up in Flamingo, I've only been there once or twice, and I had to go with somebody that knows it very well because if I was there,
because you have a GPS.
I would be a lost mother.
No, but just because you have a GPS, even with a GPS, you don't know how to get there.
Well, and you got to account for shifting sands and stuff. The sand.
And you can't navigate visually because the water's muddy, so you can't what they call Bahama navigate. You see where it's deep and shallow. But I have often said this. You can be the best fisherman that God ever created, but if you don't have the local knowledge, you ain't going to get there to ploy your trade. So, that's that.
Okay.
That's why you need a guide down here.
Yeah. So so let's say we're going up to backcountry.
Okay.
Bone fishing. When's the best time to do something like that?
Well, let me tell you something. The most bone fishing is not done in what we call the backcountry.
No.
The bone fishing is done in ocean-influenced water.
Yeah.
A mile ocean side, a couple miles backcountry. Yeah. Now, listen, anything that I say here this evening is not gospel. It's not etched in stone. Yeah. You could have another guy sitting here tomorrow saying, "Oh, well, you know what? I think this and that." So you have to say there's, but the bonefish are, when you talk backcountry, you're talking Everglades National Park, you're talking Florida Bay.
Yeah.
And so the bone fishing is done close to home.
Okay.
Backcountry fishing, when you get back towards Gulf influenced water, it's not the water itself, it's the bottom.
Yeah.
Close to the ocean, the bottom is pretty, but it's live rock, it's coral, it's sea fans, it's shell. Back closer to the Gulf, you get a lot of lush grass. And that habitat is where all the bait, the shrimp and the pinfish and the baitfish live. So it's a totally different environment once you leave the dock along the Keys,
Yeah.
and you get back towards Gulf influence water. It's as different as night.
What's the most prized fish, would you say?
Oh, gosh.
In the bay?
You know,
the mutton snapper, would you say?
No. There's no muttons in the bay. The muttons, you know,
Or
are
mangrove
oceanside
snappers.
fish. Mangrove snappers, sure. I mean, the bread and butter fish are the trout and the snappers. That's the fish you can go back there and it's low-tech fishing. You throw a jig, and you catch it. But my personal favorite fish for many years, I'd leave the dock in the 90s and the 2000s, and I'd say just sit down and shut up. We're going snook fishing.
Yeah,
it's an incredible fish. So it just depends on the individual.
Yeah.
Some people love tarpon. Some people love permit.
Fishing for it. I'm talking about eating.
Oh, eating?
Eating fish.
You want me to list my favorite eating fish?
Yeah.
Well, the snook absolutely is one.
Yeah.
But it's a very white flesh, very sweet, no bloodline, kind of like a hogfish.
Yeah.
Not the same texture, but the hogfish is a very white flesh fish, which you know yourself is a very popular fish. You ever hear of a triple tail?
Yes. Our triple tail's great.
Many people don't. It has no relative. There are a million jacks in the jack family. There are a million snappers in the snapper family. But the triple tail is one of its own.
What makes it unique?
Because it has no relatives. I mean, in the backcountry, in the Gulf, they're structure oriented.
Yeah.
They have a very high lunate body.
Yeah.
They have big scales. The tail, because they're called a triple tail, the anal tail and the caudal tail, the anal tail being on the bottom, the caudal tail being the top, and then the tail fin between it looks like it has three tail fins.
Okay.
Hence the name triple tail.
Okay.
They've got a very hard, bony mouth. Their gill plates have very sharp razor blade edges on them. You got to be careful handling them. But they lay around the crab trap buoys and the lobster trap buoys out there. So historically, we run along those buoys and look for them. Then you stop and you throw a shrimp at them, wind it in front of them. They come out, they eat it. You set the hook, and it's off to the races. They jump, they skip like a flat rock. And in the ocean side, when the guys are offshore dolphin fishing, if there's a piece of debris like a pallet, a chunk of bamboo, anything, you'll go up to those and you'll see some triple tail laying underneath there. Triple tail is a bonus fish.
Yeah.
It's really not one of those fish like you go fishing for.
Yeah.
Sure you can, but it's an incidental catch when you're doing something else, and they're incredibly good eating.
Okay.
Grouper's great. Snapper's great. I mean, we're spoiled.
Let's say, what's your philosophy? Someone come in 4 people on the boat, and they just start pulling in fish left and right. It's one of those wonderful days. And do you just say, hey, listen, what are you going to do with that? Or
when my folks get on the boat in the morning, I say, listen, would you people like to keep a few fish for dinner?
Yeah.
And sometimes they say, oh, no. And sometimes they say, well, yeah. And sometimes they'll say, well, we'd like to fill the cooler and take a bunch of fish home. Now, if we're fishing in the backcountry, which is all of Everglades National Park, and, I mean, it's a finite resource. It's been beat up with water quality problems. It's been beat up with cold snaps. There's been fish kills. So I think it's a terrific perk for somebody to come out and go fishing and take a few fresh fish home to eat. But we're not out there to rape the resource. And the fact of the matter is, if you fish in the backcountry, you can take 5 mangrove snappers. You can take 4 trout. You can harvest 1 redfish. You can take 1 snook. So it's not like you're going to go out there to fill the cooler.
Unless you're an asshole.
Well, I mean, unless you're a poacher.
No, there are assholes.
What I was saying before, if you got like 4 guys and you're going to go fish in 3 days, you only really need, when you end up getting like 4 pounds of fillet, you're almost good for 2 days.
Yeah, you're right.
You're almost good for 2 days.
You're right.
And you can go fishing and start throwing them in. Because when you save them, right? I mean, we come down here for fresh fish. If it's going to be frozen, what the fuck? You can just get it frozen fish anywhere.
The thing is, some people just have the wrong mindset.
I see them laying on boats. I see when they come in there, and I'll see like 2 people, 3 people, and they'll just have 100 fish laid in front of them.
Yeah.
And I go, what the fuck are you going to do?
And that's like the old days. Listen, I mean, back when
I've seen the pictures
people
where they got just racks and racks.
Yeah, really. We're talking dolphin, but we're talking kingfish too, king mackerel. Listen, forgive me, but I wouldn't eat a king mackerel if you paid me. They're very oily, very fishy tasting. I mean, if I was Tom Hanks on that island out there, I'd eat some king mackerel. But they would bring in kingfish and throw them on the dock, and then people would walk away. Well, what are you going to do with them? Get 50 cents a pound for them if they sell them? Which, is wrong. And then dolphin, too. Back a decade ago, guys would bring 30, 40, 50 dolphin in. Now, folks were coming down because they were equating the amount of money they spent for a charter to the amount of fish they catch. You know what? If you're going to do that, you're not going to be happy too often.
Well,
no, don't do that.
Can't, to me, the whole purpose of fishing, going out, is to relax, to catch some fish, catch something good you want to keep and eat, Cool.
Sure. That's a bonus, as they say.
And
you get a few fish, that's a bonus.
You catch some,
probably Diana
like
right there pulling in.
a big swordfish or whatever. I accidentally caught a sawfish. One time, man, I immediately got him free as quick as I could.
Stay away from that son of a gun. I had one almost kill me a few years ago.
Oh, really?
I was lucky that he was just barely hooked. So I was able to get rid of him. But I'd never caught one before.
Was that recently?
This was 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because tell us your saltfish
story. This was out in Florida Bay.
Okay, what happened to yours?
Well, see, all these years I've been fishing back there, and I mean, we put a lot of big baits down for tarpon and sharks and stuff, but I'd never caught a sawfish. About 4 years ago, there's an area that we fish. It's a deep channel way out to the west, right next to the Gulf, and we started catching sawfish. And these are freaking 10 and 14 feet long, and they've got a saw on their face, 3 or 3.5 feet long. And some of these are dangerous.
Would they whip it around?
Hey, that's why.
That's how
they tear up.
That's how they'll kill what they're going to eat. So if you get one to the boat, you grab the leader, and he's whipping his head back and forth. The kid's not going to put his hand down there, right? So what you do is you try to get down there and you cut him off and leave him have the hook, rather than beat themselves to death. Yeah, rather than beat themselves on the side of the boat or whatever. And I had a sawfish on the leader with my left hand. I'm on my knees on the gun of the boat, and I'm reaching over with my cutters, going to leave him go. He swings his head to the right, and then he swings his head back at me, and I recoiled back, and he hit the gun on my boat and took a chunk out of it about the size of a silver dollar.
Wow.
Fiberglass flew and everything. Finally, I got him cut off. And, you just don't mess with the sharks. And even tarpon. Don't try to get them next to the boat. We don't lift them up. Well, some people do. It's not legal to, and I never have. But get them to the boat. Grab the leader and don't let it go. If you pop them off, fine. If you can cut it off close, fine. But don't leave them bang themselves into the side of the boat. This is like a racehorse just run a race. He's done. His muscles are lactated. He's breathing hard.
Yeah.
Don't kill him,
Yeah.
We got to resuscitate a lot of them anyway. Cut him off. Give him some jewelry. Piercing is in anyway.
Resuscitate.
You hold on to his bottom lip,
Yeah.
and you have your customer put the boat in gear, and you sidle forward and get the water going through his gills. And when you feel him, you can feel it in your hands.
He'll come back.
You got your chest on the gun on. You're leaning down there up close and personal with him. You can feel him, and he gets it together. Boom, and he's gone.
It's kind of like mouth to mouth, except for on a fish. If you move water, their gills automatically start to work.
Oh, wow. I kind of knew that there was motion, but I didn't know you could resuscitate. That's pretty interesting. So, we made a comment a couple weeks ago, or last week or the week before, that living down here, sometimes we forget what it's like not living down here. Like you come out, let's say you're fishing late, you see the sunset, or you're fishing early on the ocean side, see the sunrise or something. Do you still get that moment where, like in the middle of the day, you see like a beautiful clouds or sunset?
Usually my moment is in the morning when I'm fresh, okay? At lunchtime, I'm starting to wear out. But my boat, where it's docked, is right on the ocean at Whale Harbor.
Yeah.
So I have about 72,000 sunrise photographs.
Yeah.
And, some mornings I'll click 2 or 3 or 4 of them. I mean, I've got some sensational pictures with an egret sitting next to my boat with the winds blowing and all of his nesting plumage is kind of fluffing up and the sun's rising behind him and stuff like that, No, I still do love it, but it wears on me. It's not as easy to do. I'm 66 years old. It's not as easy to do. I discovered what arthritis is all about a few years back. It's tough.
Yeah.
tough.
Well,
Yeah.
tell us that tell us a story about. I had a friend. Sometimes they have every so often. You've been fishing so long. You have a weird story. You may have taken something that happened with some of your guests without revealing any of your personal information.
Well,
like you have women nude sunbathing or something.
Oh, you want those stories?
I love any story. Actually, you got something. I'm trying to get something out that would kind of be.
Okay, well, listen, I'm going to go way back.
Okay.
Remember I told you I worked at that marina when I first got here in 1978? Part of my job was if a customer called and wanted his boat put in the water, we'd put the boat in the water, gassed it up, and then one of us yard guys would take it out of the canal and run it, get the battery up, make sure the steering was free. So anybody that fishes or runs around up in the Upper Keys or in Tavernier knows where Cowpens Cut is. I came out of this channel, and I'm running through Cowpens Cut, and here comes a sailboat under power, no sail up, and there's a girl at the wheel, and there's a girl on the bow, and neither of them have a stitch of clothes on.
Yeah.
So when they see me coming, they cover up. One of them rolls over, and the other one covers up. So I go by them, and they're going out the north ends of the Cowpens Cut.
Yeah.
So me having the local knowledge, remember how I told you that was important?
Yeah.
I went out of the Cowpens Cut, I jumped through a little drain, and I went all the way back around, pulled the throttle back, and when I creaked out beyond the mangroves, there they were coming out of the Cowpens Cut, and they didn't know I was there that time, and they were uncovered. So, you want a couple fishing stories now, or what? I'm sorry. I'm blushing. I'm blushing.
Remember we were talking about when I said that it's just born into us guys, man. We fucking love chicks, man.
Yeah.
Unless you're a homosexual, which
you're
gonna love it.
Unless you go both ways.
Nothing wrong with it.
or whichever.
Nothing wrong with it.
No.
But still, yet, for me, we were sitting there talking about this, and as Jim was like, "No, we've evolved beyond that." I'm like, "No, man, we still. It's our reptile brain or whatever, man. It's like, ooh, chick."
What do you think that term dirty old man refers to, for crying
And
out loud?
sure enough, a hot little thing walked by, and Jim lost his place for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? No, I was just saying that we do have control. We did evolve a little more of that. Because you know what? They got a problem. Some of the guys didn't evolve. In India, they got like a rape culture there where these guys, where a girl gets on a bus and they're going to do it. But we can actually see a girl, an attractive girl, and not.
Some of us can, whether it's this country or a third world country or wherever.
Okay, how about someone that expressed a complete lack? They pretended to know that what they were doing, a complete, like the opposite of knowledge. Like when you took someone out and you're talking to them.
Oh, we're talking about fishing again?
Yeah, fishing.
Listen, I mean, I could write a freaking book on the width and the breadth of. I had an old two couples, and they were elderly. Now I got to be careful because I'm getting up there now, and I always say, "Well, do you do any fishing?" "Well, no." Okay, now I know I have to show them how to use a rod and reel.
Yeah.
And we're up in the northern part of Florida Bay. We're drifting along. This is one of those feel-good things that really made me, oh my gosh, I've got a purpose in life. And we're drifting along, and I say to this little old, she's 5 feet tall and blue-haired, and I say, "I'm going to throw this out there for you. And you just hold on to it and slowly turn the handle." I'm trying to work with 4 people. That's a lot of work for me. So I look back at her, and she's not reeling, and the line's underneath the boat. I said, "Oh, let me get that for you." I said, "No." She goes, "I'll get it." I said, just reel in, and we'll start over. And I see the rod starting to shake. And she caught a sea trout about 12 inches long. He goes, "Oh my God." Now this lady's 70 years old. "Oh my God, I've never caught a fish before. Oh, this is wonderful. I've never done this." I'm going, "God darn, lady, you should have gotten out before now,
Oh, yeah.
And so that kind of made me feel good.
Was it Captain Hepburn?
Was that my Captain Hepburn imitation?
No, it sounded like on Golden Pond.
Yeah.
Well, I can only imagine what it's like to be a big city person because I always grew up in the sticks. My family comes from the sticks. We grew up hunting and fishing.
We know how to appreciate that, and it's not just. We don't take it for granted. I know we don't.
The hardest prey to catch is a human. I'm from the city. That's what we know. No, I used to spend stuff in a Cobra cabin and fish and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's get before we forget.
Okay.
Do you still want to? Do you want to give your phone number out if you're for fishing or anything?
Oh, I could do that. Yeah.
Let's do that, and then I want to talk about stuff not about fishing. And then we wrap. Yes.
Okay.
Just about your knowledge of the keys and all that stuff.
Okay. All right, yeah.
So let's go. If you'd like to go out, and Captain Russ knows his stuff. If you're coming down here, it's the experience of fishing, not the amount of fish you're going to get, and you're going to see some beautiful things, I imagine, when you're out there. Where can they get a hold of you, Captain Russ?
My phone number is area code 305-393-0013.
0013. I'm just going to remember to put that in there before we sign off at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So, you're down here for 40 years this July. Okay, there's so many things to ask. Okay, good. Oh, that's good. Let's hear.
You go out fishing and stuff, and so after Irma, how beat up are the mangroves? I've been reading that there's some places where the leaves, they're not sure if they're going to come back or not.
Look, good question. With every hurricane that I've seen, with all the salt and the wind in the air, there's been some defoliation of the mangroves. The red mangrove is the only vegetation that can grow in 100% salt water.
Yeah.
They're an incredible, plant. But Luke, I got to tell you, there's no problem. There's no problem whatsoever with the prop roots. Now there's not a problem for the fish, but it's a problem for a lot of the bird life and everything, because there's birds like, gosh, there's a place down behind on the lower end of Upper Matacumbe behind Bud and Mary's. There's an island where there's white-crowned pigeons, always flying back and forth.
Yeah.
Google it, white-crowned pigeons. Like a pigeon, but it's got a little white yarmulke on its head.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one since, because they used to nest over in these islands over there. I hope they're okay. I'm sure they left, but it's habitat loss. Just like the seagrass die-off in certain areas of Florida Bay, well, the defoliation of some of those mangroves. But as far as for the fishing, listen, I'm going to tell you something. It's a good question. I appreciate you telling me. I think it's the people's perception of, oh my God, the Keys got hit by a hurricane. Oh, they're wiped out. Same thing with a freaking BP oil spill. We never had any oil within hundreds of miles of us. But it was the perception of people.
I know. Well, I'll tell you, there were hundreds of millions of dollars that were collected down here.
And the media
didn't ask for one.
that told us that there's an internet newspaper called the Palm Beach Post.
Yeah.
And they went on the internet and they showed a map of Florida. They showed the area where the oil spill was, and they showed a big black line with arrows that came all the way around the bottom of the Keys and up the east coast of Florida, showing that this is the way the currents and the wind were going to bring the oil, and everything was going to be devastated. And I'd like to go up there and find that asshole and beat the fucking snot out of him. Excuse me for.
Oh, you can say that. We got
snot is okay.
That was an exceptional question.
Yes,
that
was
great.
Because as you can tell, I was wound up when
that was good.
When he fed me.
I mean, pick the one that's with a lot of feeling. Okay, there was another question. Monkey Key. Are there monkeys on Monkey Key?
Do you want to take this one, Luke? I don't know. That's down in the lower
Well,
Keys.
that'd be like asking, is there any dildos on Dildo Key?
There's no fucking Dildo Key.
I've been by
There's a jerk-off key. There is
a Dildo Key. And there's a Black Betsy Key. And there's, sure.
There's a Dildo Key.
Yes, there is. And there's a Dildo Key Bank.
There is a Dildo Key?
Yes.
Make it a short one.
And you just thought Luke was getting feisty.
Monkey Key. I think supposedly there were monkeys on Monkey Key.
I was told that there was, and this is, don't quote me on this, but I was told there was an experimental area down there where they were using monkeys and they got loose, and I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to swim out or anything like that, or genetically.
Well, now let me tell you something. There's a key.
That's too big. God.
What the hell's the name of the island? I just totally lost it. Down by Robbie's, the island back behind Robbie's. It's a 260-acre island. It's a botanical park. There were deer on that. There was a couple from Wisconsin named Matheson, and they brought a herd of 14 white-tailed deer from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And they put them on that island. And up until about 92 or 93, there were still a few there.
Yeah, they couldn't survive.
No, they were exotics. They were exotics, and that wasn't the right thing to do.
That's a little one, right?
Hey,
You're talking about my penis.
no, I don't know about Monkey Island.
And now they gave me another beer to try.
Sam Adam, somewhere else. Well, listen, you're down here 40 years. What's the strangest thing you've seen? Like on the roads or something where you were involved? Not just bypassing, something you were involved in, you were intimate. Come on, there's something weird. I get it every month.
Really?
You got to understand what's weird is one person is standard to another. I mean, I've seen guys stop their car in the middle of the US1 and jump off the bridge because there was bales floating by. You know,
Well, that's weird.
Yeah. Well, not back in the 80s, it wasn't, right, Luke? Huh?
No, well, let's say you're driving up. You're driving up on this car. Someone stops their car and jumps over the side.
Yeah.
Now, you knew what was going on. Everyone around there would have thought, that's a crazy
Well, see, the
fucking
thing was,
like
there
the shit you
wasn't-
see on the Golden Gate Bridge every so often.
Well, yeah.
There wasn't quite as much traffic back then.
No.
In the off season back then, there wasn't you could stand in the middle of the road.
Absolutely.
At night.
Absolutely.
And there would be a car for hours.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that you could sleep in the middle. Some of the 80-year-old guys say you would. They came down here pre-World War II.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine being here then?
Yeah, they said that.
And listen,
you
I'm not a
you can
fan.
lay in the middle of.
Well, that's when it was
right.
still a trail. It was.
Well, actually, no.
just the railroad track.
No, it was a WPA thing in 1936 that changed it over from a railroad track to a highway. That's why the Labor Day hurricane. Those guys. That's what those guys were doing.
Yeah.
They were building a highway, and that was Roosevelt. Bringing a make work job.
And we drove on.
At least now, man. With
But I mean,
the
that-
advent of radar and spacecraft and stuff. At least we know when one's coming, and we can.
Well,
see
I found out recently that
But-
the guy, there's a tall guy, he's around 6'7", he walks up and down.
Oh, the Plastic Man.
Yeah, he actually collects all that money and donates it to his church.
Yeah.
What on
and he lives in
recycling stuff that he picks up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't. He took a vow of silence.
He wears a trash bag and
He answered. He answered written questions to. He answered written questions to. Was it the Free Press?
No, I thought it was a token. I thought Denise got him.
Denise got a hold of him.
And I remember reading it, but it's been so long, and
He answered written questions.
and it was just bizarre because he seems very intelligent, but he's just very bizarre. But
Well,
I'm not fucking necessarily not bizarre.
I was. Okay, this is going to be a little deep right now, maybe. But Schopenhauer was a philosopher prior to World War II, and his idea, it was kind of a negative idea. That his idea was there's three types of people. There's people that don't realize that we're all connected, not aware of where their state in the universe or state of being, and they're blissfully ignorant to their suffering, and then the pointlessness in existence. And then there's other people that are, but they are aware, a smaller group are aware, and they decide to give up because they believe there is no point to it, right? And then it's the second biggest one. They just don't have any goals and they don't live. And then there's a third kind, a very minute part that are aware and realize it's the will to live, and that's what he calls
the people that move through the keys.
No, everyone. The will to live. Everything. Schopenhauer's idea is the universe is all one thing. It's all one thing, and we're all different parts of the one thing. Okay, and then there's guys like this, and this guy. But this guy could be the guy that's aware of all that and still maintains goals and creates the balance of between doing something and doing nothing. Because the homeless people really. Idea of a homeless person is someone living in Mangrove, they're giving up the will to live.
No, man, some of those people just said, fuck
Some
it,
of them,
I don't give a shit about buying the latest car, having the, I'm fucking content Those are the ones that won't steal. Those are the ones that actually fucking...
I didn't say all of them. I said some of them.
But a lot of them are batshit fucking crazy, man, you know?
Well, no, they could be crazy because of the awareness of...
They're on their medication, man.
Well, no, but there's an idea that it's psychotics or people that have mental problems have an awareness of the state of being, and they just can't handle it. And the rest of them, without a goal in life, you don't do anything. So your goal, you came down here when you were 28. You wanted to fish. Mm-hmm. You stayed down here. You established a life. You have friends. You have a business. And you maintained a goal. And as well as the guy, the white plastic guy, the plastic walking guy, he keeps himself. You never see him look soiled, do you? It's always a
but he's sweating like a son of a bitch.
I'm sure he is. Well, he's 6'7" and about 170 pounds, he looks like.
Well, that's because he wears all them garbage bags or whatever.
Yeah, but he has the...
I swore the other day, man, I swear in the wintertime he was wearing bubble wrap, man, on his head. Underneath his plastic.
Could have been.
I can see that.
Walking T-bone out buying. And I don't want to stare, but it's kind of like... How do you not stare at a freak show, you know? I mean, people stare at me. When I'm at a grocery store, little babies look at me, especially around Christmas time, like...
Yeah?
Yeah, they think I'm either fucking Muhammad or Santa Claus, one of the two.
Or the Belsnickel.
The what?
The Belsnickel. That's the evil German alternative. The Belsnickel is the evil German...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The evil German precursor to Santa that comes in and beats the shit out of the bad kids. Mm-hmm. And his assistant is Black Peter.
You know, Luke, some people read way too much. You know that?
No, the reason I know is my grandmother was Pennsylvania Dutch.
95% of the people that look at him, the first thing they think of and say is ZZ Top. That's it.
They're talking about Luke.
Yeah.
Not me.
No.
They say me, Woody Allen.
It used to be Grizzly Adams.
Yeah,
I used to get that.
I favor Woody Allen.
Yeah.
So I like, because it's an audio media, I like to describe myself differently when you're around. Oh, you're much taller and you have a lot more hair. And I under-promise and over-deliver. I want to thank Captain Russ Pellow for being here, and Luke Glenn. Hey, Luke, what are you playing? Who are you playing? Who are you playing this weekend? Where are you tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm at Sharky's with
That's
the
May
band,
10th?
And that's 7 to 10.
7 to 10, Friday?
And, Friday I'm at the OV with Alan, and then Saturday I guess I'm filling in for Cody with the T-Billies at Sharky's.
At Sharky's.
And
that would be
Sunday,
May 11th. No, May 12th.
And Sunday
Today's the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. The 13th.
I do Shipwrecks and Sharky's.
Mother's Day.
Yeah,
on Mother's Day,
Shipwrecks. I'm at Shipwrecks early and Sharky's later.
Well, you can find Russ here many times at the Catch here at the bar. You can buy him a drink. And
I'm only 3 blocks down and 2 blocks over. So
And if you'd like to go out, he goes on the B side and also side. Yeah, but his number, Captain Russ's number is 305-393-0013. We'd like to thank him again for being on the show. This is Jim Keys, bartender. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for listening. And I'm going to try to go. Luke, what do you have to say to everyone here? You said a piece? Okay, let me play the music here. Bring this in.
We have a theme song?
We do. Well, you can say whatever you want now.
At Domino's, we're more than pizza, so mix it up with our specialty chicken, stuffed cheesy bread, sandwiches, pastas, medium 2-topping pizzas, and more for just $5.99 each, and we'll mix stand-up comedy with a robot.
Stuffed cheesy bread and my act have a lot in common. They're both super cheesy. Tough crowd.
You can also mix it up with Domino's salads, marbled cookie brownie, bread twist, and medium 2-topping pizzas. Order any 2 or more for just $5.99 each. 2-item minimum. Bone-in wings, handmade pan pizza, and bread bowl pasta will be extra. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary.
Right now, you can get both Sprint's unlimited plan and the all-new Samsung Galaxy S10 included for just $35 per month per line for 5 lines. All you need is approved credit and an 18-month lease. No trade-in required. Visit a Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT1.
Phone $15 a month after $22.50 a month. Credit apply within 2 bills. If canceled earlier, remain balance due. Unlimited basic after 6/30/20. Pay $32 per month per line for 5 lines with auto pay. Data deprioritization during congestion. Speed maximums. Use rules and restrictions apply.